RM was injured, and we need to get into it. We also have people scared that RM may have left the festival that he was performing at recently while in the military over some stalkers, and what people are saying about that. And then we have him getting mocked and what that's about. So Dumplings, is Dave Desai. Let's get into it. There have been a lot of people mocking the BTS boys in the military still, and I think that's quite strange, especially since some of them are already starting to come back out and they have excelled at what they did in the military. There's a lot of conspirators and people who will come up with hate no matter what, and a lot of people thinking that the BTS boys either paid their way to get these badges and honors that they've earned in the military or had done something shady behind the scenes to achieve those rather than getting them because they're good. And basically this belief comes from a place of homophobia. It comes from a place of even hating women, right? Because a lot of these comments will say things like they're gay or they look like women, and thus that means they couldn't possibly be good in the military. However, they'll say anything rather than just face the fact that sometimes there are people who are good at what they do, and it takes a lot of hard work to be a celebrity. Now, is it the hardest job in the world? No, but it's hard to maintain a career for several years, have that career keep going, and also tour, do long days where you're often not sleeping and you're just traveling all the time. These things take a lot out of you, both physically and mentally, and a lot of other jobs don't have that. Again, not the hardest job in the world. Being a doctor is harder. There's so many other jobs that are harder, but no job that pays you a lot of money is easy. It's hard for me to understand where this homophobia and where all of this awful stuff is coming from, because if people just look into K-pop even just for a few seconds, if they look into what a celebrity's life entails, and then also look into what a K-pop idol life entails, they can easily tell that these boys are training 8+ hours a day, dancing and singing. So naturally, even before they go into the military, they're already well equipped to be in the military. They're going to have a better breathing. They're going to have better stamina. They're going to have all of those things be much better than anyone else who is entering. There are some people who are talking about this idea that they think it's very funny that the BTS boys are going to essentially kill somebody or kill someone in battle, and then the victim is going to look up and see a bunch of K-pop stars dancing on top of their almost dead body. Of course, first of all, if that were to happen, I don't see the problem there. If they're doing their job, if they're killing their opponent and doing what needs to be done, then what on earth is the issue with them having a little dance afterwards? However, this comes from a place of racism, homophobia, and hating women, where they're basically just saying that all Asian men who are slimmer look like women, act like women, and couldn't possibly do anything that is considered manly. Because the issue here is that they think that dancing and all those things are not manly. Then they think it's a super feminine quality. Of course, as I was trying to allude, I don't think these things, even if they are feminine qualities, are bad things. But we have to address some of these things and take into consideration that there are hundreds of people who are brought into the military as trainees, and it only seems like the BTS boys got promoted as fast as they did. This, of course, has led to another fear that the community has of the boys, which is that they're scared that the boys will get injured. Now, this fear comes from the fact that the boys have gotten injured a lot throughout the course of their career. I mean, they have been injured so much that almost every other time they do a live stream, we're hearing about an arm, leg injury, or whatever it is. And it appears more common than it actually is because there are 7 boys. So the chances of one of them getting injured and then the next one and then the next one and then the next one is probably going to be more likely. But then we as the audience will look at it and say, oh my God, the members get injured 7 times. But reality is just each of them getting injured once, which is normal. That happens to all of us all the time. We could be cooking dinner and then kind of cut ourselves or something, right? Or we can kind of trip and fall or whatever. However, there is this idea that the boys are super fragile, that they must be protected at all costs. And a little while ago, when RM was on the set of filming for one of his solo stuff, and one of the cameramen or the director accidentally hit him with the camera and he got a small gash on his face. It wasn't anything huge. He wasn't complaining about it, but the director and the cameraman were super scared that RM was going to report them and then that they would get deported. So the director did talk about this and did talk about how he was very sorry for hitting a national treasure, but RM didn't think it was a big deal, and it likely wasn't a big deal at all because it was something that RM was pushing for, to get that shot and to do it quickly. And so this wasn't exactly anyone's fault, really. It was just an accident, and RM knows that. There's other injuries that he's had, such as things with his foot and having a foot injury, and things with his teeth and something wrong with his teeth. And so a lot of people also think that he is just more accident prone. So they're definitely wondering if he is okay. Will he be okay in the military, and just overall what's happening? You can't expect someone to be perfect all the time and to not get injured all the time, especially when people are dealing with things like sharp objects, guns, and bombs. And then you definitely can expect that people are going to get injured, but expect that there are professionals there to help lessen any severe injuries. And there are people and things in place to make sure no one gets hurt. Now, those people can't really prevent any injuries from happening, as I'm sure there is no guarantee. But we have seen him recently, which I definitely want to get into, and he looks really good. He looks happy. He looks healthy. He doesn't seem like he is in any danger or in any pain in any way. But before we get into that too much, I think that a lot of this babying could even be why a lot of people outside the community see the boys in such a way. I don't know if the people who are saying these awful things about BTS have ever gotten a response from the K-pop community, but even if they didn't, by saying these things and then later getting a response in the future, they might then think, oh wow, these boys are really weak people. And then that could even turn into, oh wow, these boys need to fight for them rather than them fighting for themselves. And this is the type of insanity that exists when a celebrity is a celebrity, because the actual celebrity is not doing anything. The actual celebrity is not involved in the arguments, but then they're going to get mocked over something that the community says. If you are not aware, in the military, there are several duties that one could do. So you could just continuously train and just do that, or you might sign up for different opportunities to serve your nation, whether that is being at an event or doing something more musical or trying to serve your country that way. Now, serving in this more musical way does not mean doing your own career and then somehow serving your country. They mean like participating in an event as a soldier and doing something musical. So Arm had an opportunity to play the saxophone, I believe, at the Hwacheon Tomato Festival. Yes, they had a band and he got to wear this really cute red uniform. So you got to kind of see him take off his military uniform, and I'm sure it was fun for him to be on stage again. And I'm sure that's why he signed up to do it. But I actually remember him trying to learn the saxophone. So that's actually really cool that he sort of mastered it, or at least mastered that song to be able to play it in front of everybody. Now, I don't know how people found out about where he was playing or even that he was going to be there, because I think it was a surprise even to some people in the audience. Like, it wasn't advertised. But he got some people showing up that started recording him. There was someone who was recording him before he changed into his band uniform, and so you could see him and how he was looking, and it appeared like he was angry to see someone randomly recording him, or at least that's the conclusion that the community had come to. Personally, to me, it doesn't really look like he's angry. It kind of just looks like he's a little bit caught off guard, and he wasn't aware that someone was recording him. He might even be a little bit annoyed that he is being recorded at that moment because he is not ready. He is not in uniform. Maybe he doesn't even have makeup on, and he just feels like, oh, this is a bit of an invasion of privacy. Now, people have documented moments, I believe, after the show in which some people from either the audience or some people who knew that he was going to be there showed up, and he greeted everyone with huge smiles on his face. And people were saying, like, look, this is what happens when you show up and are essentially supportive and you're not trying to invade his personal space, versus before at the look he would give you if he felt like you were being invasive. Now, this has led people to be very upset and a bit scared about what is to come. Like, was someone going to attack him? Like, how did people know that he was going to be there, and would this have endangered him? If someone who was a bad person had found out, and many people were scared that he would have gotten hit or be rushed out early or whatever it was, just because either someone in the audience would have attacked him or a bad person would have followed him. And then also a bad person might follow him afterwards, maybe following him back to the camp, or it's believed that he doesn't even live that far. It's believed that his town was about 75 miles away from the town that he was performing at, so it's not impossible for him to be followed if he was going home right after. However, we don't have to worry. He seems like he is fine, and I'm very glad to see him happy and really excited to be back up on that stage again. And also, a side note, you can even tell here that he obviously hasn't gotten injured or hurt during his military training. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out Patreon for more videos. Link down below. Thanks, just leave a comment right here. Love you. Bye.